जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। 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 ओम श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। 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 ओम 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 श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। ओम Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Om 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Om 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai 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 Jai Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Yesterday we were telling that one more sloka in Srimad Bhagavad Gita defines about yoga. Yesterday we were reading out Tasmad Yogaya Yujyasva Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. Yoga is nothing but efficiency in action. So Puja Swami Ranganathananda Maharaj elaborately discussed about the two dimensions. One is the outer productive efficiency and the other one is inner character efficiency. So when we handle anything, we should ensure that both of these efficiencies are taken into consideration, whether at home or in the office or in the society. Not only we should be efficient in productivity, but at the same time Swamiji wants us that if we don't simultaneously develop the inner character efficiency, he used the word qualitative enrichment of the soul. And if we neglect that, only concentrate on the outer productivity, what happens is quality impoverishment, That means even after working for 30 years, and when we retire, though we may get some gratuity, provident fund, pension or something like that, still the man is not full. Not only that he is restless because he doesn't have to go out at 8 o'clock in the morning. He is a problem not only for himself but also for others. Many houses we have seen this. They become desperate. So Ranganathanji Maharaj says that it is because during the period of employment, sufficient attention was not given for this qualitative improvement. And he has also explained what is qualitative. Bringing out maximum efficiency, then at the same time thinking of becoming aware of the presence of God who is within us, who has made us to deliver the outer productive efficiency. That means we start trying to train our mind in anything and everything. We are trying to connect ourselves with God within. Outwardly we may be acting as an individual, but inside we may be feeling that it is He who is making me to do. So love will be there, We have also seen individuals who have practiced simultaneously. They are all grihasthas. After the retirement, they are contented. They accept every situation. They are not keeping quiet. They will do everything perfectly, now not with a commercial attitude. They try to reach out to such of the segments who need their services. Previously, I was a wage earner also. When I tried to bring out the productive efficiency, I was also a wage earner. With that salary, we were buying creature comfort, which was making our life comfortable. I may do some savings. All those things are there. But after the retirement, instead of getting into again some commercial activities, that person will be able to share his rich experience for the welfare of the segments of the society. Many are there. Even in ashram. So this is possible, it is not impossible. So yoga karma su kaushalam is one thing which makes us to think about all those things. And here he says in another one, Yogastha kurukarmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhuktva samatvam yogam uchate. Being steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna, perform actions, abandoning attachments, remaining unconcerned as regards success and failure. This evenness of mind is known as yoga. Here that word yoga comes once again. What is yoga? Samatvam. Equanimity of mind. Mind in perfect balance. That is called yoga. But then what point of view shall I adopt during work and human relation? Yogastha kuru karmani. Do actions established in yoga. That Buddhi Yoga that became earlier is the attitude from which you can work and achieve most effective results. Sangam Tyaktva, giving up attachment, that comes from this truncated self. All attachments come from the little man. That attachment has to go. How does it go? When you deny this little I, the large I begins to manifest. In Sri Ramakrishna's words, when the unripe I goes, the ripe I will manifest. Siddhya siddhyau samo bhuktva, therefore. Becoming even-minded in siddhi and asiddhi, success and failure. Too much depression is in failure. Too much elation in success. These are proper. Therefore, try to keep the mind even. Samo bhuktva. Normally, we are unable to control ourselves. When something happens, over elation. And then something happens. The tire is punctured. Tube is punctured. Depression. So yoga means samatvam, samatvam, samatvam. Yoga, so do action from the yoga level of consciousness. That is, remembering God, no? Yoga means union with God. Do action, this is a big subject. It constitutes a complete and comprehensive philosophy of life. How to raise our consciousness levels. After all actions come from a particular level of consciousness. If it comes from another level, the action will also be different in effect. A criminal has one action. His conscious level is in a particular state. A very generous man also does action. His actions come from another conscious level. And so this subject of raising consciousness level, Bodha Unnamana, is an attractive subject in all countries today. If an officer or clerk in the government secretariat is unconcerned with the people, his or her activity comes from a lower level of the little self, controlled by the genetic system. The genes are selfish, says modern biology. They cannot be the source of values. Another clerk or officer, interested in the welfare of the people, will respond with an attitude of what can I do for you? How can I help you? Many of you might have known, but still it is worth repeating. When Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, when he was in charge of ISRO, they had prepared a project, and the project was distributed to many of his deputies. And the main deputy was asked to, after some time, compile from the different sections, and it has to be presented to the government. The date was fixed. So Dr. Kalam asked this chief deputy to prepare everything and give him by evening so that he can present it day after tomorrow. Both of them knew that it is very, 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 very important. When this chief deputy on that particular day started for his office, his 5-year-old or 8-year-old son, probably 8, we don't know their age, 8-year-old, 10-year-old son, correct, because he was going to school. He came and told, Daddy, you will come at 5 o'clock today? Yes. Today is my birthday, you have to take me out. Sure, I will come. So he went. When the moment when he got into the office, he got immersed in the work. So the entire thing has to be compiled from different sections and put it in a proper order. And everything was over. When he looked at the watch, it was 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Suddenly he remembered he had given a word to his son that he would be there at 5 o'clock. Son will definitely feel bad because today is his birthday and I have promised. What to do now? With a heavy heart, he left the office, moving towards. Then he said, okay, we will take him now. But as soon as he was reaching, the door, the gate was opened by his son with a cheerful face. He thought he would be looking like this, with grumblings and complaints. He was overjoyful. So as soon as the car was parked, he got down and said, I'm sorry, I couldn't come. No, I already know that. Your boss came at exactly 5 o'clock. He told me that I am immersed, you are immersed in the work, and he said he will take you. Then he took me out. He brought certain things. Whatever I asked, he gave. He dropped me back just a while ago. When this incident was made known to us, it really touched our heart. We have shared with many groups of children. Because when they become of age and when they become employees or employers, they should bear this in mind, because it is not a dictum or a dogma or a philosophy. It is a thing that had happened. Now when we stitch it to this, at a higher level, think about the employee, the officer. To him, the dedication to the work was paramount. At the same time, he was conscious of his commitment to his son. But the boss, Dr. Kalam, he was conscious of the humane element, How did he come to know? This man had shared with Kalam in the morning. But he remembered and he filled the gap. Not a word about this to the officer also. Don't worry, I have done nothing like that. That is his greatness. He was prompted from within, he did it. So this defines us what is a higher dimension, not merely at the individual dimension. Heaven is not going to fall down even the boy is taken at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. But the word has to be kept up, We try to understand these sublime truths through examples. So that means it is not impossible. It is not a tall talk. Every one of us will be able to prioritize, set apart, give importance if we are in a position to raise ourselves to a little more higher than what we are. How can I help you? This response comes from another consciousness level above the genetic system. That conscious level from which positive actions come, positive good to society comes, is called the yoga level. And from the yoga buddhi level. So yogastha kuru karmani. Do work from the vantage ground of yoga. Then comes one of the two definitions of yoga, samatvam yogam uchyate. Yoga is equanimity, balance. Every experience throws the mind into a wave, small wave, big wave. You have the power to control that wave formation. If you exercise that power, you are a free person. You are really using your higher cerebral system. If you don't, you become like a creature of circumstances. Somebody says you weep, you weep. Somebody says you smile, you smile. You have no freedom. That should not be. I shall smile when I want to, not because somebody dictates to me or nature dictates to me. That is called freedom. The whole of the Gita teaching is based upon the truth of human freedom. From freedom we come, in freedom we live, and to freedom we return. This is the Vedantic teaching, said Swami Vivekananda. And so here the capacity to keep the mind in balance when many circumstances come to unbalance, that is the real test of human greatness, human strength. So many examples are available in this connection, from the highest level of a Buddha up to the ordinary levels of greatness in a society. We find many types of this achievement, but every step you take in the direction to show that you are free from external constraints is progress, real human progress. So all intellectual growth, creative growth, spiritual growth need this prior stabilization of the human psychic system. Samatvam yoga muchyate. That is yoga which is based on samatva, calmness, balance. Everything tries to imbalance me. I must develop a system in me which balances it automatically as the body does it. So physical, here again, of course, again I will repeat. Because the moment we say Samatvam Yoga Muchade, we remember Puja Swami Sachidanandaji. There have been many, many occasions. But Swamiji never uses, very rarely he has lost balance. We can't say he has not. Very rarely. Mostly he never loses the balance. One day we were in a small room. Swamiji's big room was not constructed. Swamiji's room was very small, in which, two almaras are there, cot is there, and he was sitting in a chair. We were sitting down on the floor, and we were passing through the letters, and he was giving us his suggestions as to how we should write. Suddenly, one middle-aged person with a marriageable age daughter came. The next room, where Chandranji now sits, there was a sofa there. So Swamiji said, tell them to sit there. I went out of the room and told them, you please sit. We continued our work. Sri Ram Swami came immediately. Sri Ram Swami said, there is a problem, Swamiji. What? So many people, one group of people are coming from Hyderabad or somewhere. On those days, the railway booking, for railway booking, we have to send somebody to Mangalore. Sri Ram Swami will attend to it meticulously. He will become upset if we don't get. So he was also upset. Why upset? They have not sent the money. There are about 5 to 6 people whose tickets are to be booked. So he was telling, they have not sent the money. But from this Swamiji's seat, Swamiji's face, there was no reaction. After some time, Sri Ram Swami went back to his room. There was no reaction. In Tamil, we say, Kanatare Kallapota Madri. Then after some time, somebody came to take prasad, so he told us, you give them prasad. So we went inside and took the prasad packet, gave it to him. He prostrated before Swamiji, kept a cover. Swamiji said, take 1001 from that cover and call the father and daughter. Take one more prasad. So he has come to seek blessings for his daughter's marriage. Swamiji had asked him to come next day. All these things we came to know later. So that was given and they were sent. Then he said, when Sri Swami was explaining, Swamiji only asked how much is needed. So he said 2,500 rupees. Then Swamiji kept quiet. Whether he will give or not give or what he should do, nothing he answered. After waiting for some time, Sri Swami went back to the first room. Then he told me what is balance there. It was 2,500 rupees. That you give to Sri Swami. So when this was going on, that was in 89. What I'm taking, 89, 33 years back. So I asked Swamiji, when that middle-aged man with the daughter came, do you know that somebody will come and place a cover? When Sri Swami came and asked about this, do you know that somebody will come and put this in the cover, the needed amount? Swamiji said, we don't know. But one incident that comes to our mind, that is why we keep quiet. One day he was, it was on a Saturday, Swamiji was coming from his room to Bhajan hall to meet Papa. Papa was coming out with a stick, walking stick, with his usual blissful face. So when he saw, yes, Sachidanand, what is the matter? One problem. What problem? We want 100 rupees to buy ration. Today is the ration day. Oh. How much you have? 2 rupees. Very nice. And he stood there. On those days, from our gate, it's all open ground. We can see the main road. A few buildings, school building, that's all. Very few buildings up to Mavangal. So it is. Then suddenly, Swamiji said, we saw one young man running towards ashram. Then he reached the gate, then inside the gate, or the steps, Panchavati steps, he was gasping, and then suddenly he prostrated before Papa, got up. Where are you from? I'm from nearby place. I've been thinking of having your darshan, but every time when I pass through, I don't get time. Luckily today I saw you walking and coming out, so I thought I would have your darshan. I just came for your darshan. Okay, having come, you please go inside. No, I have no time. I just wanted to see you, that's all. Having come, you be here for some time, man. No. He again prostrated, left a cover. Papa was standing in the same posture. Swamiji took that cover. It contained 100 rupees. On those 100 rupees is a big thing, very big amount. Swamiji was explaining, so when we ask somebody, he will make some arrangement. Otherwise, we will tell them tomorrow. So here, why we remembered, calmness, samatvam. Every time when we maintain, how will I do it? I have already promised. All these things crowd around you, and God who is seated within, who has prompted you to make those words, He will keep quiet. But if the moment we feel He has prompted me to tell Him this, it is the onus is on Him. How He manages it is His concern. That is what is called samatva. That alone will give us the needed, what you call, equanimity. Because it has come from Him. So He knows how to handle, when to handle. Not necessarily that it is handled in the way in which we have explained. But when we have reached that stage, we will remain untouched and unruffled, not because of any superhuman this thing, only because of the fact that we are well established that it is He who has given the prompting, so the responsibility is on Him to fulfill it, if He wants.
Swami went out, Swami. Does it trust play a part here, Swamiji? Trust.
Trust. Faith is trust.
Does it trust play a part in this?
Trust. You can call it any name. Total trust. So we are talking about samatvam. All are same, synonym, different words we say, Different words are there to convey the same thing.
And the virtues.
That's all. But when we go through the examples, especially if we have observed or if we have heard or if we have seen, it gets stuck in our mind. We don't need any other philosophy or book to know what is samatvam. We would not have been able to hand over everything to him. We would not have been able to accept that every prompting that comes from within is from him. But we will try, because there is solid instances. Then we come to know that our sadhana should enable us to feel this. Then we will neither be elated nor be dejected by anything that God makes us to come in contact with. So people like us, we draw the necessary inspiration from these incidents, and then we are trying to understand the meaning of equanimity based on that examples, observation. And then try. Sometimes we may fail. That is human error. No, it can come. As I said, Puja Swamiji also, we have seen. But very rare. By and large, we may be able to keep it up. The idea is that he has given. So it is his responsibility to honor. There is nothing particularly impossible, nothing magical, nothing mystical about it. Any human being can do it, can achieve it here and now in the context of daily life and work. It is not exclusively an ascetic privilege, but everyone's. And one great lesson Vivekananda stresses again and again, that it is the calm, steady person that turns out the largest quantum of work, not the excited, unsteady type of people. They may make noise, but their work will be very poor. That is what everyone has to learn. So this is the great teaching Sri Krishna is giving us. Do work, but the consciousness level from which you work proceeds must be of that nature, stable, steady. That is called Buddhi Yoga or Yoga Buddhi. Buddhi established in yoga. That state is the best source from which all actions can come. They will always be good for oneself and good for all. And therefore these two virtues, samadhamma, are highly praised in our literature. Great workers, great world movers, unless they had that samatvam within, could not have summoned the tremendous energy to make the world move in that particular direction. And so, for all of us, as much as we can, even one step ahead is good for us, for making our life efficient. And this yoga is going to be defined later as efficiency in life. So there is nothing magical in it. People must banish all idea of magic and miracle from this philosophy of yoga. This is down to earth. Take a person by the hand, slowly lift him or her up, take him or her to the highest level of life. That is what true philosophy does. Everything is clear. Everything can be communicated. It can be practiced. It is difficult. All things are difficult. Even climbing a small hill is difficult. But the more a great achievement is difficult, the more will be the challenge to the human mind. I don't want an easy life. That attitude must come. Then only you can have a society of heroic minds. No easy life. I am prepared to pay the price and get it. No charity. That is a wonderful idea. Samatvam yogam uchyate. Even in the 12th chapter, he says, this samatvam. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karuneyavaja nirmamo nirahankara samadukka sukakshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishchaya mayarpita manobuddhihi yomatbhakta samepriya. Harsha amarsha bhaya udvegai yasmanno dijate loko lokanno dijate jaya harsha amarsha bhaya udvegai. Harsha amarsha means, harsha means exhilaration, elation. Amarsha means depression. In both, when somebody is in a position to have a steady mind. You remember that the tennis boy? What a level, no, at 18th year. When he won, when the whole stadium stood up and gave him a standing applause. And this boy was steady, calm, quiet, and the mother rushed up, hugged him and said, "Are you not happy?" Then he says, "The other man also played well. In a match only one will win. This time I won, so what?" These examples we should, now and again, we should bring back to our mind, because we are subject to this both. Easily we will get elated, easily we will get upset. Samatvam yogamuchyate. So the first thing you have to do is to handle your mind. We rarely handle our mind. We handle tools, but the biggest tool is the mind itself. We never handle it. We let it go on its own way. So the Gita is going to give us that other teaching. Handle the tools, but handle the mind also. The tool of all tools is the mind. Then something great will happen to you. So this is the first definition of yoga, samatvam yogamuchyate. We have 25 minutes, okay. We will try to read a few portions from the September issue of the Vision. Editorial. It's a great privilege to get motivated and think about God. And also to know that without Him we do not exist. It's a great privilege. Normally we don't. Our effort now is to transform this knowledge into an experience. This process that enables to do is normally termed as sadhana. Initially we feel that to reach this stage one has to totally cut off from the common run of life, which is not that easy or possible. But going intensely through the wisdom teachings of Mahatmas and Shastras, like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we intellectually understand that what is required is to change our attitude towards men and matter and not run away from our daily life. We also learn that the first move is to train our mind to deal with everything not from our individual standpoint, but to see and react from a higher level. By thus broadening our vision, our attitude prioritizes quality, care, and concern for as many creations that come in contact with us as possible. In other words, we can say that spiritual sadhana should enable us to cultivate the spirit of mutual love and service while interacting with events and individuals. This month's issue of the Vision carries articles on how to blend spiritual sadhana with daily life. Papa, to sadhakas. It is essential that sadhaka should watch every step he takes on the spiritual path. He must control his thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. His thoughts should always dwell in the oneness of all objects and things. That means the origin, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam. Not only ours, everything. So he thought should always dwell in the oneness of all objects. His feelings should be pure and go out in love and sympathy towards the whole creation. His action should be a spontaneous outflow of his dynamic nature. Spontaneous, not a thought, thought directed, thought oriented. Spontaneous. Thoughts are contaminated by being obsessed by diversity, which is the cause of illusion. Feelings are vitiated by their hovering around egoism, thereby creating attachment and selfishness. Words are weakened for lack of inspiration and purpose, producing error and confusion. Actions are tinged with the desire for their fruit, causing in its turn violence and misery. Let the intellect be awakened to the consciousness of the divine. Let the heart be permeated with infinite love. Let words be gems of pure wisdom. Let actions be done for the welfare of the uplift of the humanity. The obstacles in the way of the sadhaka are self-centeredness, reliance on his puny strength and wisdom, his dependence upon the perishable and impotent objects of life deprives him of divine care and protection. His likes and dislikes, favors and prejudices set up a thick wall on his path. Suspicion, distrust, sensitiveness keep him always on the rack, giving him no rest and no peace. His individual sense must merge in the cosmic spirit. The notion of the body must give place to a permanent experience of his deathless and all blissful existence. He must triumph over darkness and ignorance and awake to the light and glory of his real self and being. The delight of the eternal should fill his manifest life and activities. He ought to embody divine beauty and sublimity. The life of the senses must die. Life of the senses must die. He must be reborn in the spirit and know that he is God. To us it's a tall order, but so many points. Not allowing our intellect to judge on others, not becoming carried away by the ordinary feelings. When we utter the words, we should be careful. The Socrates 3 filter, you remember? Somebody went to Socrates and told him, I want to say something about this person. Wait. Before you tell me, first you tell me whether it is going to be, whether it is the truth. So the man said, no, I heard it from somebody. Okay. The second filter is whether it is going, it's a good news. Then he said, no. It is a good news for me. Then he said, no, it might. Wait. One more is there. Huh? Eh?
Does it concern me or not?
Does it concern me or not? Correct. He said, no. Then he said, if you don't know it is the truth, if you don't know that it is good, it's a good news for me, and if you don't know that it doesn't concern me, why should you tell me at all? 3 filters. So the life of the senses must die, He must be reborn. So every time we have to keep on asking these questions, before reacting. We may fail, we may forget. But the purpose of satsang is to gather and store in our mind and then pray to the indwelling reality who has facilitated us to store this in mind. Please remember me at that particular, make me to remember that at that particular time when it is needed. I cannot do it, only you can do it.
It is true, good and useful, Swami.
Useful, whether it is going to be useful. The path of the sadhaka is one of peace and goodwill towards all creation. The path of sadhaka is one of peace and goodwill. We will add, in Socrates' filter, whether it is going to give peace and goodwill. He cannot expect to progress if his behavior with the world is not friendly. Spiritual progress means evolution both in the internal and external life of the sadhaka. Very important. Spiritual progress means evolution both in the internal and external life. Not merely the internal. Patience, kindliness, and love towards all those whom he comes in contact helps in widening his vision. Remembrance and meditation of God purifies his mind and heart. When sadhaka reaches a certain stage, there is simultaneous illumination of his inner and outer life. The heart is flooded with love and joy, and eyes dazzled with divine light. The body idea is lost, then there is only God for him. His transformation is now complete. His body is no longer the only one which he calls his, but he has come to know that all bodies are his. Nay, the whole universe is his own manifestation. He has realized that he is the all-pervading and infinite spirit, and therefore he dwells in all beings and everywhere. He is at once static, calm, silent Atman, and also the universal power active in the manifestation. How can he then express what God is? He is at once one, two, and many. He is neither one, nor two, nor many. The fight between the Advaitis and Dvaitis is born of their inability to express spiritual experience. Prepare yourself to walk on the path with firm and brave steps. Be intoxicated with the divine joy and peace, and let the flame of your life mingle and dissolve in the cosmic brilliance of God. Let your sense of separation from this immortal life go. Let your sense of separation from this immortal life go. Let the veil between you and him be cut asunder, and know that you are the great truth himself. Again, Papa's words. Ramdas does not want anyone to lead only a contemplative life. One must also serve one's fellow beings in a selfless spirit. Love thy neighbor as thyself does not mean that love should only be felt at the heart. It must be shown also in action, in the form of relieving distress and rendering help in all possible ways. To serve man is to serve God. Do not renounce work, but divinize work by doing it in full submission to the will of God. Work is worship when it is done selflessly in a spirit of dedication to God. Do not run away from the work given to you by the divine. Do it without ego sense. Become willing instruments in the hands of the divine and cheerfully do the work without any thought of the fruits. Work and be a detached witness of the work. Live a good life. Be free, cheerful, happy like a child. Let your heart flow to everybody in love, compassion, and enemy. That is why you are in the world. Why should you bother about your past? Take care of the present. Life is intended to be divinized. You are like animals if you live only for the gratification of the senses. If you transcend such a life, you rise to the human plane, where you avoid what is wrong and do what is right. You then struggle for God realization and go beyond the human plane into the divine plane. You become a God man. To reach that state is the purpose of the human life. You must subdue the animal tendencies. The man who has realized the divine is a saint. He is of great help to struggling humanity because he can guide them to spiritual perfection. That is attained only after realizing the Atman and looking upon the whole universe as the manifestation of the Atman. When you go to the rescue of another with a heart full of compassion, you play the part of God. Such acts grant you immense peace and joy. The more you are helpful to the distressed, the more your heart softens. A soft heart is the heart of God. A soft heart is the heart of God. From such a heart, relief comes to you also when in trouble. Words of Puja Mataji. It is not enough if you repeat Ram Nam. You should accompany such a repetition with intense meditation on the glories of Papa. Tell your mind all the time, Papa, you are this, Papa, you are that, you are all-pervading, seated in the hearts of all, you are all, beyond all. Otherwise, all the Ram Nam you utter will be superficial only, just on the surface as it were. In order to lend strength and power to your Ram Nam, you have to dwell mentally as much as possible on the divine attributes of Papa. There are some devotees who repeat as much as 20,000 to 30,000 Ram Nam daily. But what is the use if it has not made the slightest impact on their conduct and behavior, and their worldly attachments remain as strong as ever? Mataji lashes. What is the use of chanting if it has not made a slightest impact on their conduct and behavior, and their worldly attachments remain as strong as ever? When you begin to think Papa's universal attributes, your mind starts going within. You begin to see him in everyone and around you. When you are able to think of your own kith and kin and the man in the street in the same light, with the same vision, it means that you have made spiritual progress and are all set to merge into Papa. Till that stage comes, all your attainments are at the lip level. Maybe they are even throat deep, but no deeper than that. That is the main reason why I keep telling everyone to mentally dwell on Papa and his divine attributes while chanting Ram Nam. Papa had told me during the sadhana period that while doing the Nam Japa, I should bring into my mind Papa's universality. Go on saying, Papa, you are all-pervading, you are eternal. And then the wandering mind will stop roaming about on external objects and dive deep within you. Pray to Papa to reveal his eternal Swarup within you. We are asked to dedicate ourselves, Tanu Man Dhan, body, mind and wealth to him. So far as Dhan is concerned, I had none. So the only way I could serve Papa was to dedicate body and mind to him. Papa told me to serve others, looking upon them as his own forms. While taking Ram Nam, mentally I would bring into the mind all his divine attributes. You all may do the same. Regard whatever work you are now doing as his service. One more thing, please send to the ashram once a mind the total number of Ram Nam chanted by you during the month. The do's and don'ts of a pure life by Swami Satchidananda. Beloved Papa has given us some hints as to what we should do and what we should not do to walk on the divine path. Words of Papa, Gita tells you what you are in reality. It infuses you with strength, purity and peace. It is a mine of wisdom. Dive deep into it and you will come by the priceless gems it holds. It is made clear at the end of the Gita that the highest acme of God realization is to be a perfect devotee of the Lord, a veritable embodiment of divine knowledge, divine action, divine love. Such a devotee is the very form and expression of God, or God himself in human form. Srimad Bhagavad Gita provides a barometer, as it were, demarcating clearly the do's and don'ts to help in assessing the degree of progress the seeker has made in attaining divine knowledge, in transforming every action into divine action, and in becoming the embodiment of divine love. Let us make firm resolve to read every day the below mentioned maxims which are enshrined in Srimad Bhagavad Gita and put the same into practice. There are so many. Anyway, we will read. Very difficult for all of us, but still Swamiji has told us to read, Be rid of I and mine. Be mentally united with God. Be of firm resolve and steadfast of mind. Be balanced in pairs of opposites like joy and sorrow, heat and cold. Be the same in favorable and unfavorable circumstances. Be regular in yoga and meditation. Be upright in body, speech and mind. Be devout in the service of the preceptor. Be nonviolent in thought, word and deed. Be contented with whatever is available. Be pure internally and externally. Be full of devotion to the Lord. Be friendly and compassionate. Be forgiving and impartial. Be free from envy, perturbation and fear. Be free from the sense of doership. Be free from attachment. Be free from self-esteem and egotism. Be free from malice towards all beings. Be free from anger, even on provocation. Abstain from gossip. Accept both praises and reproaches alike. Cultivate humility. Cultivate perfect purity of mind. Chant God's name and sing His glories. Do charity in its sattvic form. Do not hate or slander. Do not grieve. Develop dispassion toward the objects of enjoyments of the world. Develop forbearance, fearlessness, sublimity, fortitude, mildness. Keep control over your body, mind, senses. Ponder constantly over the hollowness of birth, death, old age and disease. Surrender mind and resign to the Lord. See the divine in all, love all alike. Study the teachings of the Vedas and other sacred books. Treat alike both friends and foe. Take to contemplation. If we can bring in the above mentioned points in our life at least once in a while, it will help us to lead a peaceful life. Pray to God to give you that intense aspiration to realize Him, and that will burn off all the impurities and make you crystal pure to reveal Himself in your heart. This is an article by Swami Chidananji Maharaj. Are you becoming a better person? God alone is perfect, eternally perfect. No one is perfect in this created phenomenal world. But all have the potential for perfection. And life is a means, a chance for rising beyond imperfection, of rising into a state of perfection. Sadhana is the scientific system of attaining that perfection. So the whole process is a gradual transformation from imperfection to perfection, from incompleteness to completeness, from a defective human nature into a beautiful, all-perfect divine nature. The potential for this transformation is within each individual. God dwells in all beings, but all beings cannot become aware of His indwelling divinity. It is only given to man who can think, reason, reflect, introspect, read, listen, understand, gain knowledge, and expand his understanding of himself. To this unique being alone is open the ability, the scope, the possibility of recognizing this mission and engaging in purposeful, meaningful endeavor, and thus become perfect. Therefore, one of the unfailing touchstones and one of the necessary tests of a truly spiritual life and a rightly oriented sadhana is, what is my sadhana doing to me? What is my spiritual life doing to me? Quite apart from its connection with God or our eternal reality, spiritual life and sadhana have also to be tested upon the basis and factor of your relationship to God's creation. Not only to the impersonal God, reality of God, but to the personal aspect of God in the form of His creation. As you are proceeding in your spiritual life, are you becoming a more and more compassionate person towards God's creatures? Are you becoming a more and more truthful person in your dealing with other persons? Are you becoming more and more a person of sublime, noble, pure thoughts? Are you becoming more and more a person of sublime, noble, and pure thoughts, sentiments, motivations, and actions? Is this taking place? Is this unripeness of an imperfect human nature gradually giving place to a maturity, to a ripeness of a spiritual nature? And is it ultimately moving towards a perfection, a divine perfection, in a divine manner? Day by day, one should test oneself upon this touchstone. What is my sadhana and my spiritual life doing to me? What process is taking place within me, within my mind, within my heart, within my gaze, within my attitude and my approach to life, within the inner hidden motives behind my activity, which only God, the indwelling spirit, knows and I know perhaps. This is the touchstone. Are you becoming a better neighbor to your neighbor? Are you becoming a better disciple to your guru? A better fellow seeker to the other fellow seekers? Are you becoming a positive, creative factor of inspiration and adoration in your contemporary human society? What is happening to you? It is very, very important that you keep a tab on what is happening to you, what you are becoming. Because they say that sadhana is a sort of alchemy, a process of alchemy. Alchemy is that hidden mysterious science by which base metal is turned into gold, the royal metal. And that alchemy must take place within your personality, within your thoughts, feelings, within your objectives, motivation, within your conduct and character. Any real, authentic sadhana and spiritual life, any genuine yoga must inevitably, invariably bring about his inner transformation. Therefore, this touchstone is a method of testing yourself, of ascertaining the nature of your sadhana. Whether it is going upon correct lines, whether it is being done with understanding, whether it is bringing about an inner transformation. This here and now inner transformation is as equally important as Brahmajnana. I want to say that it is even more important. It is a precursor to that. If it is taking place, it will ultimately lead you to Brahmajnana, to total perfection in God experience. If this is not taking place, you will have to wait long, because there is something blocking the needed inner transformation. Sadhana makes a person a good person. Sadhana makes a person a truthful, tolerant, compassionate person. Sadhana creates a person of noble character, pure conduct, holy life, of sanctity in all his activities. Thus it becomes a gradual process of the ascent of the spirit towards God consciousness. Imperfection is not to be kept forever. Though we may be born imperfect, if it is not to be tolerated, not to be maintained. If it is to be got rid of, transcended, to be made to give place to perfection, that is life, that is the meaning of life, that is the value of life. Therefore, with this goal in view, one should work upon oneself upon all levels of one's own being, becoming better and better, day by day, until one becomes godly, divine, full, totally perfect. This indeed is each one's responsibility, each one's mission in life, each one's great duty. Rest of the portion we will take it up tomorrow. So the content is the vision content. The message is very, very clear that we may be feeling under the banner of spirituality we are doing sadhana. But every now and then we have to test watch ourselves. Only we will know, nobody else will know. To others, we are a wonderful sadhaka, a spiritual aspirant, with chandan on our forehead, with a beard or with this thing, with so many people may think we are sadhakas, but we only know whether we are sadhakas. So all Mahatmas, including Chidanji Maharaj, they were blunt in telling us. Puja Mataji was blunt in telling us, Papa was blunt in telling us that we should always observe what is happening inside. Papa's one beautiful quotation, when we started going deeper into Papa's words of wisdom, it struck us. Outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. Our inner aspiration is to widen our love circle, bring in more and more the care and concern of as many of His creation as possible. So, it is for that purpose we are doing some spiritual discipline. But at the same time, none of us will be able to do that throughout our working day. Each one of us is preoccupied with so many assumed duties and responsibilities. So during that period, I should ensure that it is compatible with our inner aspiration. So today, two messages, One is samatvam yoga muchyate. Equanimity is yoga. We are even-minded in every circumstances. How can it be brought? Through so many ways. Accepting of everything as ordained by Him. So then the responsibility is on Him. I am not responsible for anything that is happening outside. So this handing over, though it is very tough, all of us can or should try. Second message is, what is happening to me? This evaluation. Both these are 100% absolutely necessary for a spiritual aspirant to progress steadily on the spiritual path. May He who has prompted us to dwell on these thoughts, who is seated within, who has prompted us to contemplate on these aspects intensely, may He bless us to actualize these in our life. May He, when the Nentraka, what you say, banana, long, when it is removed from the plantain, it is kept, and then it has to ripen. 10 days, 15 days, depending upon the climate. And when it ripens, we can eat. So unripeness, as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said, from unripeness to the ripeness, all of us are in the process. But we are not aware. We should become aware knowingly, so that whatever that makes us to halt at unripeness will go. So let this thought be there. We pray for His bounteous continued blessings on us to make it ripe. Hari Om. Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Sri Ram Jai Ram